Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now, there were a lot of really cool upcoming WWE figures revealed today. Almost too many to go over on this channel. So if you want to find out the images that I'm going to be using for this video, head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com or check out Ringside Collectibles' Instagram account. That's where I'm getting these images from. So obviously, women's wrestling lives here, and we're going to focus on all the really awesome women's wrestling figure reveals that were shown off today, talk about them a little bit. And yeah, there's definitely a lot to go over. And then after that, I'm going to give my WrestleMania 38 predictions for the women's matches coming up. So with that being said, let's begin here. Now, I am flying solo. The Treasurer had a very late night. And truth being told, I'm recording this very late, but I was really excited to go over these images. And as you're watching this, know that I stayed up really late to record this video. So with that being said, let's try this out here and let's see if I can share my screen here. Okay, so we are going to go here. Okay, so I think this is a success here as far as technology goes for your boy, Mayor Aaron. So right off the bat, there were some images that weren't shown earlier in the day, right? So we'll go over those as well. The ones that were shown kind of in the display case on Ringside Collectibles' website. These are images that were posted after the fact on ringsidecollectibles.com, which you can see right there, the website, wrestlingfigures.com, Ringside Collectibles. And right off the bat, I wanted to start off with what I'm really excited for. This is definitely in my top 3 figures that I'm most excited for coming out. And this is a Survivor Series Elite Becky Lynch. So we saw a really odd looking prototype, I guess you could call it, in the display case earlier in the day, but this was posted as the day went on, and this looks fire. This looks stunning. If you look at that Raw Women's Championship, it looks like that red's maybe a little bit darker there, but either way, I love Becky Lynch. I obviously have, all of Becky's figures, so I'm a huge fan of hers. And yeah, this looks stunning. It looks awesome. It's unique to her attire. I believe it this just this past Survivor Series. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited for the Survivor Series line because it always has really cool, unique packaging. So yeah, this looks awesome. I'm really excited. So moving on to what I was telling you about here is this is the image we saw earlier in the day, kind of in the background, but they did feature it in a main image here. And this is weird. This is weird that they posted this. It was really bizarre because it's like, okay, that looks like a face scan that we've gotten before of Becky. It might be a little bit different. I haven't done a side by side yet, but either way, it's obviously an unfinished figure in physical form. We saw the 3D render previously. So it's a little bizarre that they showed this. I don't really know why they showed this. Really weird, really bizarre. But I'm glad that we did see this 3D rendering come up on Ringside Collectibles later with the description Survivor Series Elite. So I'm really excited. The Bayley Survivor Series Elite that came out last year was awesome. One of my favorite figures of the year. So this Becky, I mean, I'm truly excited about this figure more than I can even express with my little mouth right now. Now this is not a live stream, but it's going live. No edits, no cuts really. So bear with me here. So moving on, this is another thing that was shown on Ringside Collectibles website much after those initial releases came out. And this is the Championship Showdown Series 9, Sasha and Bayley. And yes, this is from that Hell in a Cell match that we were all thinking it was going to be from. And I'll be honest, this is exactly what I wanted it to look like. Because let's be honest here, we already know that as far as the basic lines go, they're not really putting the attention to detail and care that they used to in the basic line, cost-cutting measures and whatnot. But either way, I think they did a good job with what they had here, and we'll look at the figures up closer in the next images. I really do like that figure stand. Even though those display stands that come with the little arms, they're kind of chintzy and wobbly, but it's better than those side plates in my opinion. So here we do have that Sasha scan that we did see on that most recent Sasha Banks Basic. And it does seem to have the darker blue hair tint that we saw rather than what we saw in the Elite 83 here. It looks like it's a little bit darker. The Bailey does look like that serious Bailey scan that we got in the Survivor Series Elite. And obviously the attire is pretty spot on from this night, but there's kind of some little caveats, I guess you can say. And you can see them here. So Sasha looks great. I mean, the all white attire, how do you screw that up really? And here, this looks stunning. I mean, this looks awesome, especially for a basic style Sasha figure. Like, wow. I mean, if you look at her arms too, if you look closely, that intricate design that she has, that's part of her attire, mind you, has always been painted on in her figures. You can kind of see in my camera there. But here it's two molded pieces. So I think that's a really nice detail that they're adding. And hopefully that means we'll see a lot more Sasha figures released here in the near future that have that molded on. I think it looks really smart. I think it looks great. And I love it. Now, Bailey here, this gets a little weird. So this Bailey figure looks cool. And on first glance, it does look like she has those kind of bunched up style cargo black pants. But if you look closely, they're not bunched up around her knees. They're just knee pads. They just added knee pads to give that appearance. So that's kind of a letdown. I mean, but to be honest with you, it actually works rather well, but it kind of stinks. I would have liked to see a uniquely molded piece to kind of simulate those baggy-ish black capri style pants that she wore. But having the knee pads there to kind of simulate that, I mean, it does work, to be honest with you. But yeah, either way, it's kind of a little thing I noticed. But for a Showdown 2-pack, this one by far looks like the best female championship Showdown 2-pack that we've gotten. And I'm really excited for this. This should be the next review in LJV if it comes soon. And here we got a nice little pose. These are always funny. And like I said, these display stands, whenever I review this in LumberJillville, I'll definitely give you an up close look at the display stands because that plastic is so chintzy and wobbly. It's kind of comical. You know what I mean? So I'm not a huge fan of what they've been doing with the Championship Showdown 2-packs. I think the side plate thing was a complete disaster. And these display stands is better, but they're just not as functional as you'd want them to be. Now, given down here, you can even see my mouse on here. How about that? Now, given down here, you can see that you can move these little display pieces into these different pegs and recreate different positions. But unless your two wrestlers are doing crouching tiger, hidden dragon moves, it really doesn't look good. But either way, the figures look just fine. They look pretty good. So, moving on down here, we have Bianca Belair from Basic 131. Now, we did see the 3D rendering of this, so this is kind of the, I guess, final product, we'll call it here. Hopefully, hopefully the series comes out soon. And yeah, this is kind of the Tennessee Volunteer Orange with the lips here. We got the silver boots. Now, the face scan does look good. It does look like a kind of modified version of the head in general as her first basic. I believe that was Basic Series 107. And what I do like about that is obviously the scan, it looks good. But what I love about it, y'all, look at that braid. That braid is definitely where it needs to be thickness-wise. So I say that it sounds crazy, but Bianca's first in the line figure, once again, I believe that was Basic 107. Don't quote me. I'm shooting this live. But that braid was a lot thicker than her Elites and then her WrestleMania Basic that came out after that figure. And I've said they need to go back to that thicker braid because it really does represent that braid ponytail a lot more accurately. And it looks like they did that here. They definitely touched up that scan and it looks really good for a basic. The attire, I'm not too crazy about it. It just looks bland. It looks boring. Sometimes these attires can work really well in the basics, even when they're just painted on. And here it's so. It looks kind of bizarre to me, but at least the head, face, and obviously that hair look great. Now, where that painted on attire works really well is right here. We have that Basic 131 Candice LeRae Chase version. So this is where she's kind of modeled after the 1-2-3 Kid. So the Way dressed up as the Click. Kind of behind the scene promos. I'm not sure if they appeared on TV in the looks, but either way, I'm so glad that we're getting this Candice LeRae basic in the 1-2-3 Kid gear. I think it looks awesome. A lot of people were kind of zooming on the face saying it looks weird with those ledges, but here's the thing with the female figures and the ledges is you'll notice it on like the Liv Morgan Elite, for example. They have those ledges there so that when the scan's printed on correctly, the eyelashes go up on that ledge and gives the appearance of longer eyelashes. And it could either work really well, or if the face scan's printed on a little off, it looks weird. So we'll see how it looks in hand. I definitely have this pre-ordered, ready to review as soon as it gets here. But for a basic, I actually think this looks pretty dang good. I also like the use of metallic purple. Always like seeing that. Moving on down here, we have Tamina in her regular version. Now, this is basic series 132. And okay, yep, okay. So I just had to scroll through. This is basic series 132 regular version, and this just went up on ringsidecollectibles.com on the website here. And I think it actually looks pretty dang good. I'm really impressed, especially if you look at Tamina's previous two figures that were released. They were basics. They look nothing like her. The one I actually adapted into the Robo Tamina character because it really did not resemble Tamina to me at all. And the one that's in the all red attire, that was released, I believe, earlier than the Team Bad one. That really, if you look at that figure, most people would have no idea who it was, understandably so. It looks nothing like Tamina. So here, that scan, that hair sculpt, it looks great. You know, hopefully that's a sign that we'll get an elite in the future that uses this head sculpt and scan in this hair because it looks good. But I'll be honest with you, as a basic, it looks pretty darn good, y'all. They did a great job on this basic. I think the metallic blue accents look good. Now, obviously, it's always something we'd rather see in elite form, but for basic, it blew me out of the water. And she's actually going to be the chase in basic series 132. And here's the chase. I did pre-order two of the chases. I like the chase because there's a lot more colors involved in her attire itself. And yeah, I think it looks awesome. I really do. Now, a lot of these figures were shown behind a display glass, and that's why there's a little bit of a glare, just as a side note. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. You know, I know basics get a lot of hate. I support the basics because it is a good way to get females in the line that might not give an opportunity to be in the elite line. You know, because for some reason there's a lot of women that haven't been featured at all. And Tamina's one that for some reason we've only gotten two figures of her, and that's almost a crime. That's almost a figure crime. So the fact that we're getting new basics of her is tremendous, you know, and especially because they look like good basics. So we'll see once we get them in hand. We'll check them out. Next up, we have Natty. Now, truth being told, I don't know what series this Natty is going to be released in, but it looks excellent. It really does. And I really like that face sculpt, that scan. I believe it's the same scan and sculpt that we saw in that Elite. However, that Elite, I've gone on record to say, is extremely tiny. It is tiny, tiny, tiny. Anyone that has it knows what I'm talking about. It's bizarre how small it is. It looks like a child. So this will be the natty that I display. I'll probably display all my natties. You know, I'm crazy. I like to have all my women's figures displayed, but this one will definitely take a predominant spot in my collection as long as it's not too tall. A lot of time the women's basics, you know, scale isn't a huge issue to me, but when they're undersized to an extreme amount, like that last Elite natty, it looks bizarre. I can't display it. So as long as this one's not overly tall or super, super tall, this will definitely be the natty that I choose to display in my collection because I think it looks great. You know, this is definitely an attire that works with the paint application on there. The body sculpt looks good. I think for a basic, it looks pretty darn good. Okay, y'all. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for what I've been waiting for since I started my channel, really? You know, I started my channel close to 2 years ago, and I truly fell right into a wrestling love with Shotzi Blackheart and her true uniqueness overall to her entrance, to her attire, to her personality. I just love how unique she is, how she is nobody else but Shotzi Blackheart. She is herself in all aspects of the word. And when I heard we were getting a figure, I got extremely nervous it was going to be a basic. I was happy to find out it was an elite. But that made me a little nervous because, you know, they've cut a lot of corners on the elite as far as the women's figures go. And I thought, how can they make a Shotzi Blackheart in elite form and do her justice as far as her details go, her tattoos, her helmet? And here we go. And I am happy to say that it looks tremendous. I mean, I'm blown away. Like, there are very few figures that I order tons and tons and tons of. You know, the Ultimate Edition, Alexa Bliss, Ultimate Edition 12 Alexa Bliss, Reckoning, believe it or not, her elite, and this Shotzi are some of the ones that they're works of art. They're beyond just wrestling figures to me. Now, obviously, they're still wrestling figures. Women's wrestling lives here. I live for women's wrestling figures on this channel. But this, to me, this is a work of art, y'all. I'm going to pre-order 4, truth being told. I really am. I might do a giveaway for one. Who knows? But this is a figure I need multiple of because this could serve as the face of LumberJillville right here. You know, if I'm making a collage of all the women's wrestling figures that really kick butt, right, and stand out and maybe show people, hey, this is why Mayor Aaron and LumberJillville want the respect level to go up for women's wrestling figures because these figures are amazing. This is one that would be front and center. In all honesty, it looks great. I mean, look at the tattoo detail. Like, I'm blown away. And the fact that we get her helmet, that's super cool. I was hoping for a soft goods jacket, but I know that's asking for a lot because they obviously put a lot of money into the sculpting of her unique attire, the tattoo detail, and the helmet. So, yeah, I think the scan, I'll have to see it without the helmet. I don't know if it's the best resemblance of her, but the fact that we get her with her tongue sticking out, we get a scan that has emotion behind it. I love it. So I'll wait till I have it in hand, but y'all, I'm truly blown away by this figure. I'm excited. I can't wait. And I'm also babysitting Adley's mom's dog, the Prime Minister, I call her. Her name is Minnie. She's a little Yorkie, and she's laying right beside me. But if she wakes up, you might hear a little tap dancing. So, yeah, I mean, you look at Shotzi's stockings down here. It even simulates like a little rip in them, as they often are. So, yeah, I mean, this is a figure that I'm going to need multiple of. Like, this is why I do what I do on the channel, y'all. Because women's wrestling figures are awesome. These women are amazing. They deserve the love and attention that all figures get in the community that the women's wrestling figures don't, and they deserve it. And by the way, side note, it says Survivor Series Becky up here because apparently that's what I labeled this note. So bear with me. Moving on down, we have this surprised me. This was the one figure that blew me out of the water. It surprised me. It's Sensational Sherri from SummerSlam. Which SummerSlam? Don't quote me. It's the one I believe where Shawn Michaels and Rick Martel fought in a match where they weren't allowed to hit each other in the face. Very iconic match. Sherri was great in the match. I mean, she showed why she was one of the most charismatic managers. I believe, okay, don't quote me. It might have been SummerSlam 92 or 93, somewhere around there. But y'all, this Sherri looks outstanding. And it is going to be in the SummerSlam wave. And that's going to be really cool because hopefully that'll be, it's up on ringsidecollectibles.com right now to pre-order. So we'll get to what makes me nervous about some of the future women's figures that I want so bad because as y'all know, the exclusive Walmart lines, exclusive Target lines, it's very hard for me to find it where I live and pre-ordering it. So I usually have to spend quite a bit to get it so I can review it for y'all, but we'll get to those. But this is on ringsidecollectibles.com to pre-order. So make sure you go check that out. But the attention to detail, everything that goes into this figure it's amazing. You know, I pre-ordered 2 in Defender cases. I'm definitely going to open one to review, but I'm for sure going to keep one in a protector MOC. Oh, Luke did it. He did it. He was the first one to get involved here. So let's backtrack where were here. Okay, we're on Sherri. Luke, hey, I'm trying to record here, homie. Love you, buddy. So yeah, that Sherri's really cool. I'm really excited for that. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. So I put in the note Legends Molly Holly. It was displayed on the Legends shelf. So obviously we see an image here. We have the forefront image of Molly with that blue top, which is kind of the iconic Molly Holly look in her time in the WWE. And truth being told, she truly was way ahead of her time. She was truly a talented woman and was pretty dang amazing in the ring. She was awesome. And we kind of got this figure in Jack's form back in the day, her only figure other, to be released. And I actually reviewed it. That's one of the very few Jack's women's figures I reviewed. I reviewed it early in my channel because by gosh, Molly deserved it. So I reviewed that figure, and this is kind of a rehash of that, slightly different. The one thing I'm not crazy about is the face. The face does not look good. I mean, I don't know if this is a finished product, if it's just a prototype, whatever it is, but that face does not look that great. I'm not going to say how bad it looks until I have it in hand because it might look better in hand. That Scarlet Elite 92 is a perfect example. I promise y'all in person that scan's pretty dang good, but this scan doesn't look too crazy. Now, truth being told, I'm hoping this blue is the chase version. I think I'm really pushing it, but I hope this is the chase version because as y'all know, the Legends chases, You know, a lot of people will find a million of them at their Target, and some of them will never see them. Like, I never find the Legends chases in my area. Barely the Legends series, but the Legends chases, those don't happen. So I'll end up having to spend a lot of money if the Legends chase is Mighty freaking Molly, y'all. Now, this is one that I know a lot of people are excited for, including me. This is Mighty Molly. This is a figure that us women's wrestling fans, wrestling fans in general that are collectors have really wanted this figure for a while. So I am so excited for this. My only gripe is I believe it's going to be in the Legends line. I believe it's going to be a Target exclusive. So I'm going to be dishing out the money because more than likely I'll have to buy a couple online. This is definitely a figure I want two of, one MOC and one loose, because I mean, look how beautiful this looks. You know, I do have a Hurricane figure. The Hurricane was my favorite male wrestler of the 2000s. Um, so I can't wait for fig photography with this figure and the Hurricane or this one by itself. But I mean, look at the soft goods robe. It's got the metallic pink on the cape. You know, we do have that face scan I'm not crazy about, but we got that little tiara headpiece and we got the Mighty Molly look. So this is pretty amazing, y'all. Truth being told, it is. You know, a lot of times with the chases, there's no different but the paint scheme. But here, if this is the chase, we get the cape. So that's pretty awesome because we're not going to get the cape with this one. You know, there'd be no reason to. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm stoked. I do wish it was in a main line that I could pre-order and secure, but I am happy to see more women involved in the Legends line. You know, obviously we have China that should be here soon. We have that Stacy Keibler, which should be here, but this is a great representation of females in that line. So yeah, there's that scan up close. Not crazy about it, you know, but like I said, I'll just wait until I see it in person because I hate judging scans based off of images. I don't think that's fair. So don't worry, I'll be reviewing that. So here we have Stacy Keibler, or as she's known as Miss Hancock. Ugh, in WCW and ECW. Now, I am glad to see Stacy Keibler. She wasn't exactly a groundbreaking wrestler. She was a part of history. We'll say it that way. So nothing against her, but she wasn't really known for progressing women as far as, you know, in the ring or anything. But like people have said before, she's a part of history and it's good to have that. But these glasses look dumb, y'all. Oh, look at this. These glasses look dumb. Dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. So obviously she did wear glasses like this. She played like the sexy secretary look, you know. I mean, often she was wearing less clothes than this. Let's just go that route and say that. But yeah, those glasses, I don't know why they have like the lenses in there. I know it's like a clear plastic, but kind of a bizarre choice because you can't see her eyes. Looks dumb. Maybe it's the lighting, you know, it is behind a display case. So we'll wait till I see it in person, but those glasses look dumb. You know, obviously those aren't going on her in display. She's supposed to come with an alternate head, and I just did not see that. So moving on down to, I believe, what was the last female figure shown here. Besides the regular Candace, I didn't have the regular Candace in here. I'm not sure if they showed that, but I did not see it in my notes. But either way, so this is what I love. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. The question I posed to Mattel, and I posed to Ringside, was there are some male wrestlers that are predominantly featured across tons of different lines, topic lines, basic lines, you know, the side elite lines, top picks. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah, there's like a basic line that's top picks and an elite line that's top picks. But either way, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre have graced our store shelves. Jeff Hardy, more notably, recently. That's all I can find is the top picks elite Jeff Hardy. Like, give me a break. My thought is, I get what they're doing. They're trying to put out these, you know, wrestling figures that are going to represent the company. They're going to represent the company on the toy shelves. People are going to buy them because of the superstars they are. Why not include a female? That was the question I had. And it was like, I really do think that they should add a female to these lines and not just, oh, equality. You know, obviously I support equality. I'm all about representing the women and the women's wrestling figures. But if you want them, the women, that is, to get the respect the same amount as the men, then how about throwing a female like a Bianca Belair, like a Sasha Banks, not only in the main elite line multiple times a year, in the main basic line multiple times a year, but throw them in the top picks lines. Do you know how many attires they could do with Sasha Banks just by repainting that we have not done? even Charlotte, but I think Bianca and Sasha would be forefront contenders for females that should be included in multiple lines throughout the year, including top picks. And unfortunately, there are more Roman and more Drews coming out. And I mean, I get that there are a lot of children out there that are going to want those superstars, but I guarantee there's a lot of little girls, little boys, and little Mayor Aarons out there that want to see these women across these basic lines and elite lines, even if the top pick lines just give us different attires. But I digress. Look at this here. So this new line, I forget what it's called, y'all, but basically they have stretchy arms, right? It's kind of an off random line, and I am so excited for this Bianca Belair. It sounds crazy, but this is a step in the right direction as far as getting these women's wrestling figures in these lines that they're really not included in. We only got 3 women in that WWE Masters of the Universe line. That Superstars line that kind of took it over, there's no women announced that I know of that are going to be in the line, so that sucks. The Hasbro line, or I'm sorry, the retro line as they call it, no women announced in that so far. So that's excluding the women's wrestling superstars from those lines. And I get that back in the day, that's not how it was. But y'all, this 2022, there's some pretty badass women on your roster. Make it happen. Make it work. They just started being included in the Legends line, which is great. But there needs to be some more. And, the Masters line, like I said, we got a Becky, Chyna, Stephanie McMahon. Those were okay. The Stephanie was pretty dang awesome, to be honest with you. Becky was okay, and the Chyna was not very good. I actually did not review the Chyna on the channel because it was kind of a letdown, huge letdown. But either way, it's cool to see Bianca in this line is where I was getting at. That's what I want to see. And if Bianca is who they're going to choose to be the face of the women's division, much like Roman and Drew in the men's, they obviously made that claim that those are the faces of the men's division. AJ right there, we see him right there. He used to be the face of the men's division back then. So truth being told, I know I just went on a little blurt, but I'm pumped to see Bianca in this line. And I can't wait to not only get multiple of these, but give one of these to my daughter. My daughter isn't even 7 years old. She will be soon. And this is the kind of toy that she would just love. Okay. This would be her favorite wrestling figure. I guarantee it. She already loves Bianca. She really does. But a figure that you can stretch the arms and it's meant to be like a kid toy. Like, y'all, I've been waiting for a figure like this for my daughter for a long time. So I can't tell you how much this Bianca means to me. And yeah, I know I always have to turn things mushy, y'all, and I always have to be all, sentimental, but that's who I am. Okay. That's who I am. But I never thought I'd have that much to say about Bianca Belair with stretchable arms, but y'all, this figure means a lot. Okay. It really does. And I'm truly glad to see it. So is that all the images? I believe that is all the images. Back to Mayor Aaron. How y'all doing? So let me look real quick here and make sure I didn't really miss any other images of female wrestling figures. I know there are a lot of men's figure reveals, but as y'all know, women's wrestling lives here, and that's what we're going to focus on. So I believe we covered all the images here. Okay, Mighty Molly looks like she might be coming with 2 head scans, okay? And same with the Molly Holly Legends, so they both might come with the cape. But as of the time of this recording, Elite 94 Series 132 Basics, the SummerSlam Series that includes that Sherri, the Top Talent Elite 2023, which once again, come on, we got Rey Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, like these guys again. That's what I'm saying. Those are the lines we should include females. Anyway, and then Series Top Talent 2023. Yeah, no women in that line either. But those are all up on ringsidecollectibles.com for pre-order. So I highly suggest heading on over to there. Look at their Instagram because there were so many more figures shown today other than what I showed y'all today. Obviously men's figures, so check those out. Head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com. And y'all, I'm really excited. I think the figures I'm most excited about are that Becky, as crazy as that sounds, that Becky Survivor Series Elite, y'all, that looks legit. I'm also excited for that Shotzi. This has been a figure I've wanted since the start of the channel. And I'm really excited for the Mighty Molly. But overall, I'm blown away by the figure releases. I do wish there were more elite style current day women shown, but I get that this is WrestleMania reveals and it's predominantly legends that are shown. So I get that. And I just hope that a lot of the current day women, the current day modern era women in the division get represented well in the elite lines and basic lines for the future. We did see MSK elites, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I've really clamored for a Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter 2-pack basic form, but if those two got elites, y'all, I would promote those to the moon. I would. They are so deserving of that. Um, so yeah, Shotzi's definitely a good sign to see that. But overall, I'm really happy about the reveals today. So let me know in the comments what your favorite reveal was. But before we leave, I want to go over some WrestleMania predictions. So let's go over the women's matches. So right off the bat, we have Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Bianca Belair. Now, truth being told, this is probably the match I'm most confident about. I think Bianca's going to take home the Raw Women's Championship. Truth being told, with all these matches, it's not that I don't care who wins, but on this stage, I just want all the women to have the best matches of their careers. I want them to get out of this injury-free, botch-free. I just want them to have their WrestleMania moments, so to speak. So, Sentimental Aaron coming out, obviously that's what I hope for. But I think Bianca's going to stand tall, and I want Bianca to stand tall. Bianca, the hometown, amazing superstar from Knoxville, represent. So I'm really excited. I think that's one of the stronger storylines that have been building into WrestleMania. So I think Bianca's going to take home the Raw Women's Championship. Next up, we have Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on Ronda Rousey. Okay, I have in my prediction Charlotte. I think there's going to be a swerve, a turn, something I think is going to happen. Oh, here comes Luke making a cameo. Say hi, Lukey. But he's all wrapped up in my cords. Oh boy, careful, babe. But I think Charlotte's gonna win. Obviously, I think Ronda is good for the division. It brings a lot of eyes, a lot of international eyes to the women's wrestling division there. So I like having Ronda there, but I don't know if she's here to stay. She obviously made her return, but she is a new mother. So I don't see her winning the championship because I don't see her being able to be on SmackDown on a weekly basis and pay-per-view appearances every month, or premium live events every month. So I really might be in the minority here, but I really do think Charlotte's going to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Maybe interference by Bayley, by Asuka, maybe some kind of interference. But either way, I think Charlotte will win. Now, if she loses, everyone's going to be like, dude, how'd you not think Ronda was going to win? But like I said, sitting back and thinking about it, I think Charlotte will take home the title because I'm not sure if Ronda is fully ready to be a day in, day out committed to the strenuous schedule. She is a new mother. So yeah, I think that Charlotte will take it on. Now, I'm really excited for the tag team championship match. So we have the tag champs of Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha and Naomi, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, very cool new team, and Shayna Baszler and Natty. So who do I want to win? Who do I think will win? Let's just first off say that I'm a big fan of all the women in this match. I am. I truly am. And Shayna Baszler, anyone that listens to the podcast or follow the channel might not think I'm the biggest Shayna fan. I am. I'm a ginormous Shayna Baszler fan. Was I a fan of her tag team run with Nia Jax? Absolutely not. But that's because I've always been a big fan of Shayna as a solo competitor, as this unstoppable force, because that's what she is. And truth being told, when her and Ember Moon had quite the matchup in NXT, I was a huge fan. I love Shayna. Teaming her up with Natty, it's interesting. Very interesting. I'm pretty sure, if I had to guess, I don't think there's any way Shayna and Natty are going to win this match. I don't. Moving on to Sasha and Naomi. Love those two women. But they have had their WrestleMania moments in the past. So what this comes down to is, what team do I want to have the WrestleMania moment? Queen Zelina and Carmella are two of my top favorite women's wrestlers. I've watched their careers from their start, especially Carmella. Carmella's got a soft spot in my heart. She was SmackDown Women's Championship when I fell in love with the women's division a few years back. And, Zelina Vega has always been one of my top favorite superstars. So those two as a team, tremendous. I don't really like how the booking's been for them, how the writing's been. I feel like they could have taken a whole new direction, and they chose to have it go a certain way. But that's just because the writing has been pretty terrible, in my opinion, as far as that goes. So, yeah, I love them, but I'm going with Liv and Rhea for this match. I'm going with Liv and Rhea Ripley because here's the thing. I've said this time and time again. Liv Morgan is the epitome of a superstar that, was just getting started when I dove headfirst into supporting these women and seeing how amazing they are. And I have watched her career grow so much, and she's worked her butt off. And to see her in a WrestleMania match is pretty tremendous. But if her and Rhea Ripley win the tag titles at Mania, I mean, that would just be, I would shed a tear. I've said this before. I'm a sentimental person. And obviously, Zelina and Carmella retaining, good for them, having a WrestleMania moment, but they come in as the champs. So Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, if they would win the championships, the women's tag team championships at WrestleMania, I'll be teary-eyed. I will. I already know I will. So that's who I'm pulling for this match. But overall, I just hope everyone stays safe. I hope everyone has a great match, a great time at WrestleMania. Luke's attacking my string. Sorry. There's my boy, Lukey. Lukey, who do you want to win? He's like, what are you talking about? He doesn't know I'm recording. But yeah, let me know in the comments who you want to win, who you think will win, and obviously what your favorite figure reveals were for today. So I'm going to sign out now. Thanks for stopping by. LumberJillville, Women's Wrestling lives here. Also, stay tuned at the time of this recording. This weekend, check out LumberJillville's Instagram and Wrestling Hero Fig's Instagram. I have a very evil giveaway for y'all. It's actually going to be this and a brand new Alexa Bliss Funko Pop. Hold on. Let me redo that. I stay tuned to LumberJillville's Instagram and Wrestling Hero Figs on Instagram because there's a very special giveaway coming your way. Okay, that was a little better. Still not very smooth, but I'm going to keep talking, so I better cut myself off here. But I hope y'all have a great night. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's Wrestling lives here. Have a safe and fun WrestleMania weekend. Sending love to all of y'all. Love y'all. Hope you enjoyed this video. And a week from this WrestleMania weekend, Surgeon 180 coming in with a pay-per-view. So make sure to stay tuned. Have a great night, y'all.